So he was not 16. And his version of it is that we met, and he has a very different recollection. I actually don't remember this moment. That's why I said he should come up here. Apparently I was doing something somewhere for 13, that film. And he was with a friend and had asked, like, you know, who's that person? And I don't remember this happening, but it was very significant in his mind, I guess. Or entirely made up, I'm not sure. But I'm going with it. And so then shortly after that, we were introduced by a friend because we had similar sort of like philanthropic goals. And so we kind of worked, I guess maybe not public, maybe the public doesn't, I don't know. But we kind of worked in similar areas in that capacity. So we stayed in touch as friends for many, 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 many years. And I actually was married to a very nice gentleman who was a musician in my early 20s. And we had a sweet, like, little folk band together, and Ian and I were buddies for a long time. I mean, if I'm doing the math, I guess that was like 10-ish years we kind of knew each other as friends. And yeah, then, I mean, how much should I go into that? I don't know, I was like, this is the thing to go into. But then we were hanging out at one point, I think, again, something related to that, like having a quick little tea and just talking about some stuff. You know, I worked in, you know, animal rights and animal welfare, and he was big in, you know, ocean conservation and stuff like that. So we would like have those kinds of really boring conversations, but very exciting to us. And then he asked me, you know, like, how's you know, Paul, who I was married to. He's like, how's Paul? And I was like, he's great. You know, we're divorced, but he's great, and we still play music together. And he was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, I thought you knew that, you know. I don't know, because we've run in similar circles. So I was like, I thought you knew that. And he's like, no. Do you have time for dinner? And it was a pretty cute moment. I thought we were going to have a cup of tea, but anyway, oh my gosh, I'm probably oversharing. I'm always so private with stuff that I don't share like this, but now here I am, so I'm sharing. So he immediately said, well, you know, is this the right time to share this?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. He immediately said, oh, I'm so gonna regret this. He said, well, you know, I'm dating somebody, I guess it was a woman, I don't actually know anything. She was a woman they had been dating for like 2 or 3 months, so I guess it was kind of casual. But he was like, I'm dating someone, but I'm gonna go tell her that, like, this is, you know, over because it's like always been you. It was a very sweet story. I know it's also pushy, and I was like, don't do that. No, I was like, please don't do that. I don't know her name, or I would say, but I was like, please don't do that. That sounds like it's awesome. Whatever's happening with you guys, I don't know. And he was like, no, I've waited a certain amount of time. I'll just keep waiting. Look, the band's coming. That means shut up. That's what I go. And so I said, you know, like, we'll talk about this. So we just stayed friends for a while after that. And then somehow or another, he's very convincing. I'll say that. He's very convincing. And so then, like, a few months later, we were married, I guess.